Hello everyone. This video is brought to you by Newton's Group of Institutions. I am Aravind Egireddy from Department of CSE. In this video, I'll be talking about program development steps. If you like my videos, please subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon for the latest updates. We know that a computer program is a list of instructions a computer follows while carrying out its computations. So for computers to play a part in problem solving, it is necessary that the communication be established between the computer and their users. So this process of writing a program is called programming. But before programming can begin, the problem to be solved needs some preparation. As we know that the computers can neither think nor make any judgment by their own. Hence, the computers have to be told exactly what to do in a step-by-step fashion. So when we want to develop a program using any programming language, we need to follow a sequence of steps. And these steps are called phases in the program development. So the program development life cycle is a set of steps or phases that are used to develop a program in any programming language. Generally, in C, the program development life cycle contains 7 phases. They are problem specification, outlining the solution, selecting and representing the algorithm, coding, removing errors, testing and validation, documentation and maintenance. Coming to the first phase, that is problem specification. In this phase, we define the problem statement and we decide the boundaries of the problem. In this phase, we need to understand the problem statement, what is our requirements, and what should be the output of the problem solution. So, the problem must be thoroughly understood and the programmer must know exactly what he wants to do before he can begin to do it. If the programmer does not understand what is the problem, then there is a little hope that the computer will understand it better. So a careful examination of all the inputs provided, the questions being asked, the type of output specifications, or even some manual processing of simplified cases may be useful while finding out just what has to be done. So this information we can obtain during the problem specification phase is due to the inputs or due to the outputs or even due to some other processing specifications. Once after completing the first phase, we need to go for outlining a solution. So in this phase 2, we determine the requirements like variables, functions, etc. to solve the problem. That means we gather the required resources to solve the problem defined in the problem definition phase. And we also determine the bounds of the solution. So in this phase, once the problem is cleared, then a solution method for solving the problem has to be found. And a path leading from what has been given to what is required need to be identified. And there may be several methods to have a solution. We need to choose one among them. And this is made by using certain criteria like computer time needed or vulnerability to errors. And for some problems, no specific solutioning methods may be known. So in those cases, either a method must be developed or a problem has to be simplified to the point where the solution becomes feasible. Then we need to go to the third phase, that is selecting and representing algorithms. During this phase, we develop a step-by-step procedure to solve the problem using the specification given in the previous phases. So this phase is very important for program development. That means we need to write the solution in a step-by-step statement. So when a solution method has been outlined, it must be translated into an algorithm. An algorithm is a way of representing the solution used to solve the particular problem. These algorithms can be written in an ordinary language or in any other standard notations. Then we need to go for the fourth phase, that is the algorithm need to be programmed. So in this phase, we need to convert the algorithm into a program. So the choice of programming language depends on the nature of the problem and the availability of the programming language. So sometimes this programming is also called as coding. So here how we code means we will code by means of writing the programs to solve the given program using some programming languages like C, C++, Java, etc. Once after writing the program, once after completing the coding, we need to remove the errors. We know that errors are common while developing the program that causes the wrong results. So these errors are to be corrected after detecting them. Assuring a program correctness is called as program verification, and the process of detecting and removing these errors is called as an debugging. So there are three types of errors that are possible while developing a program. Those are syntax errors, runtime errors, and logical errors. Syntax errors are those errors that are caused due to the wrongly typed statements. That is, which are not according to the syntax or grammatical rules of the language. So these grammatical rules which govern the programming language are called as syntax, and when these rules are not followed or adhered to, then the language terms it as an syntax errors. So typing errors are found quickly at the time of compiling the program, and most C implementations will generate diagnostic messages when syntax errors are detected during the compilation. And once after completing the syntax errors, we come across runtime errors, and these errors are detected at the time of program execution, and they are called as runtime errors. So runtime errors may occur during the execution of the program, even though it is free from syntax errors. And the most common runtime errors what we are going to identify may cause because of exceeding the system dependent limits, or due to the divide by zero, or finding out the square root for a negative number, or finding out a logarithm value for a negative number, or due to range of bounds, or due to mixing of various data types. So these runtime errors are not known till the program is being executed, and the C compiler will produce some type of error messages as in the case of syntax errors. Then the third kind of errors what we are going to see are logical errors. Whereas the syntax errors and runtime errors generally produce error messages when the program is compiled or executed. So these are easy for finding and they can be corrected. Whereas this third type of error, that is the logical error, which is very difficult to detect because logical errors are due to the existence of logically incorrect instructions in the program. So these errors can be known only after the output is being examined. So logical errors are often hard to find even when they are known to exist. Then once after identifying the errors, we need to go for the sixth phase, that is testing and validations. Once the program is written, a program must be tested and then it need to be validated. The program always must guarantee to produce the correct results. Even though when the program correctly translates the steps of the algorithm, there is a question of whether the algorithm itself is correctly solved the problem or not. So to avoid this, the users can run the program under broad variety of conditions which are called as the test cases. So thus the important aspect is to the selection of test data sets. These requires a complete understanding of different logical paths that exist in the program. And these logical paths can be identified by writing well-structured programs. Then we need to go for documentation and maintenance, which is our last phase, that is the 7th phase. So during this phase, the program is actively used by the users. So if any enhancements found in this phase, all the phases are to be repeated to make the enhancements. So here documentation is a process of collecting, organizing and maintaining a complete information about the program. And modifications of the program according to the changing requirements are called as program maintenance. So here the program must be written in a clear and easy way so that the other users who use the program may not find any difficulties. So here there are two kinds of documentations that are very much useful in program modification and enhancements. One is operational documents and the other one is technical documents. So operational documents provides the information regarding the input and output formats, operating instructions, and different kinds of user interactions with the programs and limitations, if any. Whereas in the technical documentation, it provides the technical details including the design aspects and a brief explanation of all the procedures that are involved in it. And it also includes the details of the problem and the logic that is being involved and the hardware to be operated, so on. Thank you. Thank you very much.